Hey guys, so welcome back to another YouTube video. Today's video is going to be a little bit special because I am going to detail how my training is going to change. If you guys follow my TikTok, you guys know that this week I was doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and I tore my wrist doing Jiu-Jitsu. And so now obviously my training is going to have to change. Not really, because I've already been doing these things, but I will give you guys some insight on my thoughts on how I would change up training or conventional training with a torn wrist. And so what I think happened, I'm not too sure, but as of right now, I cannot go through extreme degrees of pronation or supination. In fact, I can't even supinate my arm or my wrist past about this point without it being a 9 out of 10 on the pain scale. But a really common or a really easy way to tell if you tore your TFCC or your triangular fibrocartilage complex is if you can grab the underside of something. So take my steering wheel, for example. If you grab the underside of it, and what you're going to notice is that grabbing the underside of like a table or something is going to force you into supination. And if you have a torn TFCC, it is going to hurt a lot because the TFCC is responsible for stabilization of the wrist joint, padding of the wrist joint, the padding between the ulnar and the radius, and also is responsible for rotating the wrist and stabilization of the rotation of the wrist. And so really easy way to tell if you have a TFCC tear is if you have pain on the pinky side of your wrist, so right in between the connection of the ulna and the actual hand itself. So on the pinky side right here, that's where I'm experiencing pain when I go through supination and pronation. And so for rehab, obviously you're going to want to take your wrist out of the equation, out of as many exercises as you can. Obviously, you're going to need some tools to do that. So I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to eliminate my wrist completely from all exercises, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to rehab my wrist. But a really common thing I hear amongst all gym goers is that they'll stop training after they get an injury. And that does not make any sense whatsoever. The gym and hypertrophy is cumulative, right? You continue to build on the progress that you made. And if you go through a period of time where you detrain yourself and you go through atrophy, you're going to have to build all the muscle tissue that atrophied away back, right? And it does not make any sense to stop training. All you have to do is train around your injury, right? If you have a bad elbow, you have golfer's elbow, you have tennis elbow, you have any tendonitis, anything like that, training will suck, yeah, but you can do a couple of things to mitigate the pain during training. And also, it's going to be optimal to minimize the pain because, as you guys may or may not know, you have the sensory cortex, you have the periphery cortex, right? And imagine your sensory cortex and your periphery cortex together as a water bottle, right? And we know that we fail a set due to perception of effort being too high. And guess what increases perception of effort? Pain, right? And so you want to eliminate as much pain as possible during your sets, and you actually want to save that motor unit recruitment so that you can allocate it to actually recruiting high threshold motor units, if that makes any sense. But you're asking, then, how do you train through an injury? And the answer is very simple: science-based lifting and being creative with a daisy chain and a cuff. And so if you guys have watched my other videos, you guys know how creative I am with my setups, and the same principles apply. I think the only thing that's going to change about my training currently is that right now, for elbow flexors or for training elbow flexion, I'll just grab like a preacher curl machine bar, but instead of doing that now, I'm going to attach the daisy chain onto the actual machine itself, and that way I can put the cuff on my wrist and just continue to flex my elbow. But yeah, the goal here is to invent new exercises or come up with new ways to train without actually stopping training and going through a detraining period. And so I'm gonna walk you guys through how I do all of that, of course. Now, of course, there's a bunch of nuance with detraining. Obviously, detrained individuals that had the muscle before the period of atrophy began will grow that muscle back faster. I don't know if there's an actual physiological name for the phenomenon, but in layman terms, it's known as, it's just known normally as muscle memory, right? I don't really like that term because it doesn't really, you know, it doesn't sound very scientific, but muscle memory, yeah. Basically, there is evidence to suggest that trained individuals that go through a period of detraining grow the muscle that they had before back at faster rates than they did as if they were to, or as opposed to if they were to just build it from scratch. But obviously, you can't get bigger without actually being at the size that you were before, and so you're gonna have to work up to that point again, to the point where you were at before the atrophy phase began. But why would you even bother doing that? And instead of taking time off of training, why wouldn't you just work around your injuries? So that never made any sense to me. Right now, I'm about 40 minutes away from the gym, and I have my pre-workout mix right here, and we're gonna drink that. As you guys know, caffeine takes about 30 to 60 minutes to peak in the bloodstream, and so I'm gonna take it about 30 minutes out from the gym. Today we're drinking Rise Godzilla. It's like the only pre-workout I have right now, and also it's like always on clearance at like every store I go to. I don't really care too much about pre anymore. I just need something with a, you know, decent amount of caffeine. And if it doesn't have a decent amount of caffeine, I'll just multi-scoop it. I think Rise Godzilla has like 225 grams of caffeine anhydrous per serving, but I just double scoop it like every time. But yeah, that's probably not the best idea for me because my family is like kind of has a history of like high blood pressure, and I actually had stage 2 hypertension at one point. My blood pressure was consistently consistently elevated, but that was when I was obese. Obviously, when you lose weight, you will see drops in blood pressure, see all your blood performances or all your blood markers in general hover closer to reference range. So yeah, just not being fat and losing weight is just really good on your body, obviously. And I think the next YouTube video I make, I'm going to detail pretty much everything that's beneficial about losing weight and losing excess adipose tissue. All right, so we're about 20 minutes away, so I'm gonna start drinking my pre-workout right now. This flavor of pre is so good. The Rise Godzilla. I think this is strawberry mango. That's what I'm tasting. This shit's pretty good. The fucking one, Kevin, I know you're gonna be watching this. You sold me 2 of them. The Pump Daddy. Oh my god, that one tastes like literal throw up. Like, it's so bad. I think my first ever gym vlog, I took it and I tried it, and that shit tasted so ass. Oh my god. Like, a scoop of that actually killed my motor unit recruitment, bro. It was actually brutal. All right. I hope that this mic position is good, and I hope that I'm in frame, but we'll hope for the best. So this is the first replacement exercise that I would do if I had a wrist injury, and basically we're just replacing back work, right? And so usually people will do a lat row and a lat pull down so they work their lats, but what I would do instead if I had a fucked wrist, which I do already, but I would convert to daisy chain and a cuff, and I would just do single jointed lat movements. So I'll show you how I set that up. So we're on a free motion machine here. Absolutely one of my favorite machines of all time. And I'm gonna attach it to the carabiner there. You can adjust this daisy chain up and down, the cuff up and down to your needs. And I'm gonna get warmed up here. It's my first back movement of the day, and so I like to take my time with the first back movement. But as you can see, instead of doing a lat row, I'm doing a flap in the sagittal plane. Hold on, the seat height's kind of fucked. Let me switch that real quick. So as I was saying, this goes above the elbow joint, and my wrist has no obligation here to work. So instead of a lat row where I'm involving my wrist and I'm pulling, I'm involving elbow flexors because it's above the elbow joint. This is just going to be straight lats, triceps, and chest because that's just pure shoulder extension. So free motion here, machine cuff here, and we're going to move through shoulder extension. And we're going to stop here because in hyperextension, the lats have poor leverage compared to the rear delts in shoulder extension. So again, we're going to start here, roughly about 120 degrees of shoulder flexion and to 70. And why this is so good for people with injuries is because, again, you're removing the wrist joint from the equation. So let's load up some real weight and get some real warm-ups done. All right, let's get this show on the road. So I'm just gonna show you guys why this setup is so good. Particularly, I'm gonna go on a pretty light weight. And you can see here, when I slide my arm in and I do a flap in the sagittal plane, there's a decent amount of challenge here, but not that much. The cable, or the line of force, is almost parallel to my humerus, but as I move through the range of motion, you can see it's hardest about right here because my humerus is the attachment point of the exercise is perpendicular with the line of force. And as I continue to move through the range of motion and I go into hyperextension, you can see it almost loses all challenge because the cable is almost parallel with my humerus down here. And that's good because in the shortened position or in hyperextension, the rear delts are really good at extending the shoulder, better than the lats actually. So yeah, you want resistance to be in the midpoint, and that's going to be really good for the lats. So you can see here, little challenge, a lot of challenge, no challenge at all. Very good resistance profile for the lats. Where's my gym pin at? I really need to start remembering where I place all my gear so I can just make the whole process more efficient, you know what I'm saying? I mean, the gym pin is so large. I don't know how anyone could, just lose that in their bag. But yeah, we'll place that there. And right now I'm gonna hit a warm up with 25 on top of the stack. Usually I'll gym pin it, but I'm not gonna bother this time. I'm kind of lazy. Also, lesson learned, do not flap without padding. And these are just some Taekwondo shin guards. I used to do Taekwondo, so I just had them lying around. And here we go. I'm just gonna pad this. Oh my God, it's dead stopping it. It's a little bit too high. I'm gonna move that down. Actually, not like it matters. I can still get to 0 degrees of shoulder extension. Yeah, I guess it's staying. I mean, I don't know how the plate's gonna fit. This is the first time me using a plate on this. So, my top set here is gonna be a plate. Please fit. Oh, perfect. Okay, I don't know if that's in frame. Probably not. Alright, I'm gonna put in my mouth guard here. Let's hit our top set. Here we go, let's hit our top set. I have another Taekwondo shin guard here. And what I do is I just grip onto it really hard, and I find that gripping onto it really hard gives me an extra couple of reps, so that's really nice. Sheridan's law of irradiation. But yeah, here we go. Time to hit our top set. Just make sure that's recording. All right, it is. Last time I got 43 for 5, and this time I have 45 on. So if I can get 45 for at least 5, I'll be happy. Or 4, this is 2-pound increase. All right, let's go. Mouth guard in. I'm gonna grip this really tight. Make sure the pattern is on right. All right, let's get started. Wow. I just pre-out about a lot. Alright, so I didn't really like that angle, so I'm going to switch, I filmed my right hand for TikTok, but I'm going to film the explanation on YouTube for my left hand, so you guys get a better view of it. But what I just showed you was shoulder extension, and that's going to be a replacement for the lat row. But now I'm going to show you a replacement for the lat pull down, because you also want to train shoulder adduction, which is another function of the lats. So here we go, above the elbow joint, and cuffed, and this what was I about to say? Okay, we're gonna warm up here, so yeah, here we go. Oh, damn. Okay, first I'm gonna wrap my wrist. So this isn't necessarily needed, but since I like to stay externally rotated in my shoulder adduction work, I use the chain to stay externally rotated. So since I can't rotate my wrist exactly or put any pressure on it, I'm going to put some compression on, and that really helps me stay in external rotation. So I'm going to go here. It's a really lightweight for me, and cuff up, and we're going to just sit an angle here so we can stay in the frontal plane, and we're going to just move through shoulder adduction. So like that. Before any of you resistance profile nerds say anything, yes, I know the resistance profile is not crazy optimal, but I don't know, I'm still figuring it out. Plus I don't mind a little bit of challenge at the bottom. Little costal pecs. It's so over. Costal pecs, shoulder adduction, costal pec flap. I'm speaking some gibberish right now. Everyone who can hear me in this gym is probably like, this guy's a dumbass. Alright, we're gonna put in the gym pin now. And my top set is a plate and a 2.5 on top, so here we go. The reason why this is such a good replacement for a lat pull down is because in the lat pull down you're also training shoulder adduction. So imagine grabbing a bar here, and you can look at my humerus. I'm gripping onto the bar, yes, but my arm path is still adducting, right? And so the logic here is that we're removing the wrist and the elbow flexors out of the equation by cuffing at the elbows, so we can just train the function of the lats, which is shoulder adduction. And so this is really good if you have an injury or if you're rehabbing, because obviously you're removing the limiting factor, which is going to be the wrist. So here we go. I think I'm going to hit a pap here. No gym pin. All right. Oh shit, I forgot the wrist wrap. Oh, whatever. Lazy. Alright. Wait. We're not training shoulder extension. Alright. Okay. Forced dead stop, but I don't mind that. Kind of dead stops where the chest gains leverage to adduct the shoulders, so I'm alright with that. Okay. Let's wrist wrap and let's get to business here. Like I said, I'm alright with the forced dead stop. I don't really mind it. I actually really like dead stopping. My God. That's it. That's a lat pull down replacement. Alright, another thing I'm going to be changing is rear delt flies. And the reason why is because there's obviously a lot of wrist, you know, on, okay, well, my left hand is the one that's torn, but imagine it's the right hand. So when you're pushing against this thing, right, with your wrist, obviously you're going to be putting a lot of pressure on the ulna here. That's where the TFCC sits. So in my case, not plausible. So I like bracing into the seat, and oh, here's what I'm gonna do instead. So I'm gonna take a shin guard, and I'm just gonna put it here, and then put it a little bit above my wrist, and then I'm just gonna do the movement like normal. Okay, it's a little light, but yeah, you could imagine me doing the movement. So here we go. Let's hit an actual warm up with this. All right, I turned down the gain. Hopefully this is a little better. So let's hit a quick warm up set real quick. Shin guards, of course. I'm doing bilateral just because I like it more. I'm not a fan of unilateral work if I don't have to. So here we go. Into the seat, and we're just gonna abduct the arms in the transverse plane. Okay, why is that kind of heavy? Okay, I know why that's heavy. I don't have a mouth guard in. All right, I still have an insane spinal erector pump. I didn't record the setup for spinal erectors for YouTube because I don't know. I mean, I'm not really changing anything about that, so why would I even record it? But here we go, let's hit a PAP set. My working set is 220 and I micro load with the gym pin. So I'm gonna put 205 on here and I'm gonna do like 1 or 2 reps. Woo! Here we go. Ooh. Dude, it is amazing how much power a mouthpiece gives you. Like, I completely bit my shit in half. Like, you really see me through this, right? But I'm still clenching on it super hard on the parts that are not broken, and it makes you so much stronger. It's not even a joke, bro. My top set is 220, micro loaded with a gym pin. The gym pin weighs 2.5 pounds, so it's a really good increment to micro load with. Last time I got 220, no gym pin for 5 at 0. So this time, if I get 5 and 0 with the gym pin, I'll be happy. Here we go. I usually clip it, but I'm not gonna clip it this time. I'm gonna see what happens. If I get an accidental drop set, that might be a little bit of rage bait. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, that was good. I got 5 at 1 rep in reserve, and last time I got 5 and 0 with the stack, no gym pin, so progress again. Okay, this setup is the most jank setup of the day, I would say. It's actually horrible. So last time when I was here, I had Arjun with me, and so I had another gym pin, and I was able to apply counter force because I had the other gym pin. But this time, we're out of luck because we only have 1 gym pin. So my solution for counter force, all right, I'll show you guys. It's actually kind of funny. So obviously we want this to be as heavy as possible over here, and we're gonna go get a plate right now. But anything for counter force, you know what I'm saying? So here, just thread this through with the daisy chain, and we'll put it on the same chain as the brace arm. And now we have counter force because the downward force translates into lateral stability when we're cuffed like this. Oh fuck, I didn't even put the other cuff in. Locked out, bro. Holy. Okay. So this exercise, pretty easy to understand, I'd say. So in a chest press, we're moving, look at our humerus, our arm path, and we can see that the humerus starts from out here. And imagine I'm pressing something, I'm bench pressing, right? I'm moving from scapular protraction into, or actually, I'm gonna say the muscle action. So in a chest press, I'm out here and I'm adducting the humerus towards the midline. And so we're mimicking the same movement by attaching the cuff here above the humerus. So we're getting the same arm path. So our chest is working, but the only difference is that since we're cuffed above the elbow, the triceps are not working to extend the elbow with load on it, and the wrist is out of the equation, which is the most important part because wrist injury. So here we go. I'm just gonna cuff here, and this is a nice warm-up weight.
Oh, damn it. Oh my God. That sucks. Damn it, Arjun. Arjun, I know you're gonna watch this. You should be here right now, helping me out. Okay. So this is the brace arm, and this is gonna keep us grounded, completely stable, and our left arm is gonna be the one moving through range of motion. So here we go. And as you can see, I'm so stable because I have counter force in my right arm, and my left arm is adducting towards the midline. So, oh my God, this feels insane. Okay, let's load up our top set. All right, let's load up our top set here. So I'm gonna slide the gym pin in, or not top set, we're gonna hit a warm-up set first. And I need a 25. Chest movement. I don't want to tear my pec, knock on wood. We learned our lesson, we're gonna keep this close. All right, we're also gonna cuff here. Ooh, I don't want that to pinch my skin, that would suck. Here we go. This will just slide up our arm, and we are completely stable. Okay, that was a good warm-up set, a little pap set. All right, our top set is gonna be 28 added on top of the full stack. All right, let me find a clip real quick, put in my mouth guard, and we'll start the set. Last time, I got 27 on my left arm for 7 reps at 0 reps in reserve. So this time, with 28, if I get 7 at 0 reps in reserve, or if I get 6 at 1 rep in reserve, I'll be happy. I'm probably gonna go for 6 at 1. You guys be the judge of that. All right, we're in position. Target is 6 reps at 1 rep in reserve. Here we go. Oh yeah. I got 7 at, oh, almost dropped that. I got 7 at 1 rep in reserve. So progress, super happy about that. Look at that. Who would have imagined that someone could work out with a torn wrist and they could still progress on all their lifts? All right. So now we're moving on to front delts and upper chest. And so we're just training the muscle action of shoulder flexion here. This is more so going to be, holy voice crack. This is more so going to be upper chest than it is going to be front delts. And the reason why is simply just because of resistance profile. And so you can see here, I'm resistance profile and manipulation of range of motion. So I'm going to take a really light weight here. And I'm, again, cuffing above the elbow joint, so I'm not involving my wrist. I don't have to do an upper or an incline press to train my upper chest or to bias it, really. But single jointed here, I'm gonna bring this one back actually. The single jointed, and you can see here, I'm just gonna move through shoulder flexion. And it's above the elbow joint, so I don't have to worry about my wrist or my triceps working. So, and I'm starting at about roughly just above 0 degrees of shoulder flexion, and I'm going to about 90 degrees, and I'm stopping there. And the movement's hardest at the bottom, so it's going to be marginally more upper chest than it is going to be front delts. All right, my log says I need to log 4 on here. So far on the gym pin, we got 2.5 and 5, so that makes 3. Now this red plate, so it's going to make 4. So 4, and then the yellow pin goes on 29. Just gonna slide this in right here. my God. Okay, that was good. All right, so for the last chest exercise of the day, we're gonna train the function of the chest in shoulder extension. And as you guys may or may not know, in very high degrees of shoulder extension, the costal pecs are gonna contribute heavily to shoulder extension. Now, what I have here is a cable and a bench, and I'm just gonna put my arm like this, make it single jointed. So again, I'm not using any wrist, I'm not using my elbows. During my top sets, I seat belt myself to the seat, so I have something to grab. I'm extremely stable, and I'm just gonna move through shoulder extension. So another thing I wanna cue is internal rotation, because that's one of the functions of the pecs. So internally rotating your arms is gonna bring up pec usage and pec activation by a lot. And it's very evident when you do this exercise. It is extremely pec heavy. You can feel a lot of costal pecs. So here we go, sternal costal. Warming up here. Okay, the bench is rocking back and forth. I don't like that too much. I'm gonna fix that in a bit. But it feels good so far. All right, so we're gonna prepare for a top set here. Seat belt in. I don't know why I did my right arm first. I'm supposed to go my left arm first, but whatever. Okay. I'll need to set it up for my left arm too. I don't want to tear my rotator cuff. I think I'm gonna lighten the weight and hit like a couple more warm-up sets. So dumb. What am I doing? Okay, I'm like not moving at all because I'm using the right arm now. So dumb. Okay. Internal rotation. And now shoulder extension. Here we go. Ooh. That felt so good. Okay, so this is the last exercise that I think someone who tore their wrist would have problems doing. So obviously you can't, curl, because every time you supinate your arm, it's going to be a 9 out of 10 pain, or at least in my case. So here's the solution that I've come up with. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the cuffs with the daisy chains on them, and we're going to figure out how the fuck it's going to go in so that we can attach this at the wrist instead of grabbing it with our hands. So let's figure this out real quick. It's my first time doing this, by the way. I'm actually gonna hit a set here because, oh no, I wanna film this set, so. Okay, we were just overcomplicating it. All we had to do was just lock this onto the bar. So yeah, that's what I would do if I had a torn wrist, or because I have a torn wrist, that's what I would do. I wouldn't involve my wrist, and I would just cuff above the wrist joint, or above the wrist, so we're not, grabbing anything. And you can stay neutral where it's comfortable if you have a TFCC tear like me, and then just go through elbow flexion. Oh, this is peak. Okay, I'm gonna hit a serious set now, but I'm gonna film vertically because I'm gonna film for TikTok. So I think this is gonna be the end of the video. Thank you for watching.